Here with Northwestern State head coach Bobby Barbier. The Demons, another 4-game week, and coach, what do you know? It's Monday morning, and weather has already affected one of the games. The game at Louisiana Tech has been moved up to 4 o'clock tomorrow. I guess the good news is you won't freeze after sundown.
Yeah, we just you got to be. It's good to be on routine. I think we talked about it before. You have to be tough enough to handle not being on routine, to handle things like weather and wet outfields and cold weather and practice schedules being different. You got to be able to handle those things, and hopefully we can continue to grow as a team and be able to handle those things here in the future.
I think one thing you've shown, or your team has shown early this year, is the ability to bounce back. And I think that's the mark of a veteran team. There have been some games, I know you've had your chances, they haven't gone your way, but you've shown the resiliency to keep coming back. And even in an early season, that seems to say that you can handle pretty much anything thrown at you, weather-wise or otherwise.
We hope so. We talk about toughness and being able to compete regardless of circumstance. And the circumstance is losing, the circumstance is winning, the circumstance is weather. All those things are really insignificant. If we do things the way we say we're going to do them, those things become really insignificant, and it's just about competing in whatever environment, in whatever situation, against whatever team, in practice today, and all those things. So I think we've shown that a little bit. I think we've come out a couple times this year not really ready to play. I think it's shown and got beat those days, and we deserve to get beat those days. And it's almost one of those things where when you win games that you come out like that, it gives you a bad sense of reinforcement that you're supposed to. That's okay to come out that way, So it's good lessons learned, and if we keep putting all these lessons that we're learning together and move forward with that in the back of our mind, then we got a chance a pretty good team down the road.
You'll face a good team tomorrow night tomorrow evening now up in Ruston, Louisiana Tech, and it's kind of strange. This was the team you saw in the fall, and I know it's completely different in that situation than it is now, but I guess a good thing to have seen them, and maybe not a good thing that they've seen you, but it definitely adds a little something different to this matchup.
Yeah, the fall game is so different, because we're playing everybody on the roster, we're pitching everybody on the roster, and it's just a matter of as you're moving forward in the season, you kind of get that group of guys that are playing, that group of guys that are pitching, and it's a lot different. I know one of their best pitchers that has thrown a ton this early season is the guy that kind of gave it up against us in the fall, and he was good for him last year. So it's just baseball's like that. And they got a great team. Blaine obviously does a really good job over there. They won 3 games this weekend. I think they've won 4 or 5 in a row. So they'll be ready to play. There's no doubt about that. We've had some good contests with them the last couple of years, and I expect tomorrow to be no different.
The win up there last year, it set off a 4-game or 3 or 4 game winning streak for you. But do you feel like that was maybe one of those moments where you saw what this team could have been a year ago?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. We knew they had a good team last year, and to go up there in a good baseball environment and come out of there with a win. It propels you, it makes your team believe. We were coming off of having a really tough year the year before, and then you got guys that you try to tell them as much as you can to believe and how good you can be and all these things, but until they do it, a lot of times it's hard to get it through to them. So I think that was one of the moments where it was, hey, man, we know they're a really good team, and we went toe to toe and got a victory on the road against them. So I do think that was kind of a marquee win that kind of got us going a little bit last year.
Well, you'll do that, and if you can do that again this year, you take a lot of momentum into Southland Conference play, and we're talking about weather affecting games in cold weather, and yet here it is, conference play knocking on the door. And I know you've talked many times about February, March is not the team you'll be in May, or at least you hope it's not the team you'll be in May.
Right.
Same, I guess, goes for conference play, even though those really do have a weightier, a heavier weight to them in terms of where you'll be. But kind of the same thing. I'm pretty sure the team you'll be at Abilene may not be the team you'll be at St. Houston State.
I hope not. But I hope we play well against Abilene. I think we played well against Houston. Opening weekend. So it's not saying that you don't expect to play well. It's just saying that if you have that growth mindset and that mindset of getting better as the season goes on, we shouldn't be the same team. against Abilene as we will against Sam Houston into the season or in a conference tournament or beyond. So I think it's just like routines are good, but you have to be tough enough to handle that. That's the way you can think about that. I mean, we know we're going to be better in the end if we do the right thing, but it's time to win right now too. And so hopefully, we go into it with a good mindset. It's a pretty good road trip, ahead of us. I told you I like playing on the road. I think it brings you together. The roster gets trimmed down some, which creates opportunity. It also creates some adversity for guys, and to see how guys are going to come back to work on Monday, that maybe didn't make the trip that day, or the guys that did make the trip, how they're going to respond to it too. So I think all those things when conference starts kind of come together, but it boils down to what we talk about all the time, and just the toughness to compete regardless of what's going on, the toughness of today at practice to get better, and not look to tomorrow against Louisiana Tech, to really concentrate on today and our batting practice today and our pitchers throwing and our infield work and our outfield work, to really concentrate on that today and knowing that it's going to line up like we want it to if we do that.
Abilene Christian has a first-year coach, former pitching coach there at Dallas Baptist. When you face a team like that, when you face a team with a new coach, I guess logic probably dictates it's probably to get them early in the season where they're still kind of feeling themselves out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you also have those teams with new coaches have a lot of energy early in the season too. So, it just, I guess it's, 6 one way, half dozen the other. He's a really good coach. I've known him, kind of followed his career a little bit. He's he thinks about the pitching side of it very similar to I think that I do. I think he's going to do a really good job over there, and they've got some good wins this early season. So I think they're going to be a team. They had a bunch of junior college guys come in, and sometimes to those teams they take a little while to kind of get playing, kind of like we did last year. But that Texas Junior College, you can get some pretty good players. So we're expecting to play well.
You talked about guys who faced adversity and came back strong. No one on the weekends has probably been stronger than Rich Heisler for you. But the job he's done and the job Nathan Jones did coming back after missing a week, that's got to have you feeling pretty good the way you've thrown the ball from your starting rotation.
Yeah, I mean, Ridge has been tremendous since he's been here. He gives you a chance to win. He's just different. The way he pitches is different than what guys see. He's a left-handed guy with a cutter, and you just don't see that very often, in college baseball. So he gives hitters a little different look. He was really good. Obviously, Nathan was really good. Jerry wasn't as sharp. We got it. Jerry's been so good for us since he's been here, and he'll be fine. He'll be fine. We just got to fine tune a couple things and have a good bullpen. Next bullpen on Wednesday and get them ready. But I got all the trust in the world in Jerry Maddox to come out next week and pitch well.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.